Hello and welcome to Colouring with Colourful Crafts. Sorry, I thought it was taking a picture then and it's not, it's actually recording video, which is what we wanted to do. So here I am with the colour cube, and today I am going to show you how, well, I'm going to give you a demonstration on how to use these and a nice little catch up and colour along and chatty kind of video, and hope you enjoy it. So out of this, there are, I believe, how many cards are there? Sorry, I'm just moving my thing of pens over there. So it appears there are, let me just see, there are over 1,000 colour categories included. So there's basically there's a lot of colour cards here. So I'm going to pick one out at random, and then I'm going to choose a page from the Summernights, because I thought summertime and colour kind of works, and then we'll just kind of mix them up on here, or I've got the pens here that I can go to, and then try and coordinate the colours on the palette or from the box I have here at the side, and colour in the page. So let's pick a card. I'm just going random here. I've not seen it any time before. This is just completely random on camera. Okay, right, I think I've just got one card there. They're quite thick cards, so they feel a lot thicker than they actually are. So this is the one we've got, 97. This is of oranges, which is rather a weird, well, it's a very nice one. I don't know why I say these silly things. I'm sorry if I say something silly. It's because I'm a very nervous person, and when I have the camera on, I tend to say stupid things. So you might have a whole video here of me saying a lot of stupid things. So what have we got? We've got Seafoam, Imperial Red, Flame, Mustard and Black. Now they've used a combination of what appears to be oranges and grapefruits for this. I am going to use it in a page in this book. Now, the one thing I haven't done is chosen a page beforehand, but I will now. Oh, you see, that would have worked really well with that one, but we've already coloured it in, so we can't use that one. So let's see, let's pick a page where we think that would work. Let's see. Or shall I just pick one? Shall I just pick a page at random as well, and then let's just see what happens? Okay. Oh, that was actually not a bad page to pick. All right, I'm going to do this page. I think it has actually got some orange left over from a long time ago. That is, I hope you realise that is a completely random choice and not premeditated, not picked out beforehand, I can assure you. Now I just need to get some paper to protect the edges. Sorry, I'm so unprepared when I do these live videos, thinking that I've come on prepared, and then, you know, when you start it and you realise that you haven't. I'm just putting this old sheet of paper, as you can see, full of colours from other things that I've done at the back of it, just to give the other page some protection. And this is quite a nice simple one to use with those colours. So let's get mixing. Now, in my colours I have at the side, I believe I've got that one kind of sorted. So you can see these are just cheap WH Smiths. It doesn't have to be a particular brand that you use. This is just a cheap WH Smiths pen. I don't know if that's exact, but we can say that that's pretty close to that colour. I also have another one here that, also, if you wanted to test them, you can just test them there. Actually, it's not too far off. So you can go, okay. Or, alternatively, if you wanted to, we can mix them out. I'm just going to mix them on this palette. So let's say we're going for the green. Now that green has definitely got some, would say that green is probably like this green with some more white to try and get that colour. And then I'm just going to go on to this and use my pen, my what's it called? What's it called? Brush. There's a dog barking on the other house across from where we live, and I actually feel very sorry for it because they seem to always leave this poor dog out all day and don't bother with it, and it's there barking, and I swear it's really, really, really upsetting because it's like, if you get a dog, I don't know how many of you are dog lovers, but if you have a dog, you should really take care of it better than that, and to leave it out barking the whole time. Anyway, we're just mixing colours at the moment and trying and get as close to that green as possible. So it's a bit of a trial and error. I shall be back when I have mixed the colours. Hello and welcome back. I've now got the colours mixed at the side, if you can see here. So I'm going to go on with those and see what we can do. I've tried to mix them so they are in the complete same, or as near to those colours as I can get. So we've got the green here, we've got the orange, mustardy yellow, we've got the orange, and then we've got the red. That one's slightly off. I could try and get it lighter, but we'll just see. It's as near enough as I can get to it. So I'll leave the card over there for you to see, just there, and then we'll put these colours on here and see what we get. So this is going to be a bit of a difficult video because it's different from what I usually do, and it's going to be more of a colour slash, you know, paint along. So there might be a few mistakes along the way. I might speed it up, I might slow it down. Just bear with me, and we'll see how we get on. So I'm going to, first of all, I should have really washed my fingers properly. I've got all ink paint on from messing around, but no, I'm going to go in with the, I think, the sunflowers first. I'm going to go right the way around here and colour in some of these. And these are the leaves of it, or the petals, you would say. Not leaves, I think those are the leaves, these are petals. So this would be quite nice. And also with these colours, you can kind of, if you want to, God, I'm putting ink everywhere. Excuse me now. So if you want to with these colours, you can kind of mix them, so you can kind of add one to the other and kind of get different shades, but primarily just sticking to the ones that I've picked out. I've also got a bit of paper here to dab any excess off, but I'm just going round the petals and making sure that they're all nicely coloured in. I'm trying not to get any colour anywhere else because that is something that I am absolutely awful at doing. As you will now see from the live videos, I'm not the neatest and I tend to get a lot of colour everywhere but on the page, which is not really what you want when you're working on a page, but there you go. So this is coming out quite nice. I managed to, let me just get a bit of tissue. These things here that I use are just you can get them from any supermarket store. They're just like wet wipes, like baby wet wipes. So if you've got any inks or any paints on your hands, you just rub them on there and it pretty much gets rid of anything. And I'm so messy when I do any colourings or anything like that. I usually get paints everywhere, so they're an absolute vital tool if you like me. But hopefully now I shouldn't get any more red splotches. And then we're just going to be focusing on colouring these petals in around the edge. And the brush I'm using here is just the it's actually worn off. It used to be on the side there. It's just one of the Jane Devonport water brush pens, and I find her water brushes watercolour brushes, water pens, water brush. Whew, that's what I said. If you're going to join me, you're going to see a lot of mistakes, because I make a lot of mistakes, but hopefully not on the actual page. But yeah, I really like her brushes because they seem to go on and they're even and they have a nice flow to them. Like a lot that I've used in the past don't have that nice consistency, but hers really do. Well, to me personally, that far as I can tell, I really like how her brushes work on the paper as well. You can see it's really, really nice. It was on really nicely, very easy to use. I've not had any problems with her things before. I'm just trying to think now. Quite nice is that. So what have I been up to? Well, as you know, I have been on holiday, which was a bit of a nightmare. And we shall get into the reasons why you do not go to Corfu or to Greece if you are a vegetarian, like me. If you didn't know, yes, I do not eat meat. I never have eaten meat. Ethical reasons. I have been the same ever since I grew up. It's not like a view inflicted on me by anyone. I mean, obviously my parents are very pro-animals, so I was brought up that way, but I've always just been a non-meat eater all my life. I am now in my 30s, but it has not affected me. I am perfectly healthy, and for those of you who say, oh, you're gonna get something, you should eat meat, meat's good for you. Well, I've lived this long the way that I've lived, and I've been pretty fine without eating meat. I am quite happy to do so and not to have animals killed for my food, which I do not agree with and I think is inhumane. Well, I say that I do occasionally have chicken, but it's a very, very occasional thing. So I guess I'm not quite as whiter than white as I make out, but I do try and limit that. But apart from the chicken, I have no other animal product. No, well, I do have animal products. I mean, I don't eat meat as a general rule at all. So that's the only piece of meat, the only meat that I do eat. I'm just working on this leaf. Yes. So anyway, as a vegetarian, it's very, very difficult, I find, to go to Corfu and to try and find things that you can eat, because basically all of the meals there are meat. So it was really hard for me to find something that I could enjoy and, you know, well, because you want enjoyment when you're on holiday. I mean, it's all right eating lettuce leaves, but when you're on holiday, you know, you want some enjoyment in your food. And I just could not find anything that was really to my liking. I don't also like feta cheese, so that was not very good, to say the least, because all Greece ever seems to do is bloody feta cheese. Feta cheese on toast, feta cheese on salad, feta cheese on feta cheese. It was just a nightmare. And one of the first nights we were there, I unfortunately had the displeasure of finding out just what a pepper meant in Greece if you went to buy it. Now, I was thinking of, you know, those lovely big stuffed bell peppers that you can get here in the UK, or probably most of the other parts of the world. And I was thinking, oh, I'm going to get a lovely stuffed pepper there to eat. So on the menu, they had these stuffed peppers. Excuse me while I just get my small brush out to do the detail. And I thought, oh, I'll have a nice stuffed pepper for my tea while I'm here. Sounds nice. And I was told by certain people that we were going on holiday with, because we kind of went as a group, that these would be lovely. and delightful and very, very tasty, and something that they would eat if they were vegetarian, which is great, you would think. So I ordered it from the menu, and what came out was an absolute monstrosity. I will not tell you exactly my words when I saw it, but if you ask my husband, he would tell you my opinion was not very, very good. Suffice to say, I did have to leave the restaurant halfway through the meal because it was so disgusting and I couldn't manage any of it. And I had to go back to the hotel room where we had just purchased some croissants from the local supermarket and basically eat those for my tea. So what the first week actually was absolutely excruciatingly painful for me. Yeah, being a vegetarian, the peppers are not like you think when you think of peppers. Well, certainly when I think of peppers, they're not like I was interpreting something totally different. Yeah, so I would not recommend the stuffed pepper. See, even naturally in my mind, I'm assuming, rightly or wrongly, that they will be stuffed peppers, but they're not. They're just like peppers. Like fried pepper, just pepper fried, soaked in olive oil, because olive oil is a big thing in Greece, and then that was it. Not what I was expecting, and to say I was disappointed is probably the understatement of a bloody century. Sorry, swearing here. But yes, I'm just mixing a bit of yellow with that. Yeah, it was not to my liking. The whole thing was just pretty much a disaster. Because, you know, being vegetarian, you would think you would have more options, but there really isn't. I found it really, really, really hard to find things to eat while I was over there. And obviously, well, family members are all eating meat and I'm not, and I was just so, God, it was pretty awful, I must say. I mean, you can go if you're not vegetarian, you probably really enjoy the food, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do for the next part of this video is I'm just going to speed it up a bit so we don't get too bored. So I'm just going to kind of do a bit and then film again. I think that's the best way of me doing it because I'm not very tech advanced. So I will just pause it for now and come back when I've done a bit more. Well, I was colouring in the picture and I got so far, and then I realised I had not pressed the record button again. So this is as far as we've got with it. I finished off the flower. I did the shading. I put some of this pen around the edges of the petals, which is as near to, I would say, that colour as I can get. I think that's pretty accurate, even though it says this is actually a red, but I'm going on what it actually comes out like, and that was pretty accurate to that. And then I've continued around with the leaves, and now I'm just finishing these off in this green. I'm coming to go over this part here. I don't know if you can see where I've smudged some red, which is not brilliant because obviously you don't want your leaves to look red, unless of course it's in autumn, in which case you might like red leaves, but not for this particular picture. So I'm always keeping a bit of that scrap paper at the back, so if there's any spillage it just goes on there, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing so far. So I've got everything out, and everything in a bit of some Prisma pencils and some polychromos over here and up there, and oh god, there's stuff everywhere. but it's going quite well at the moment. So I'm just finishing colouring these few last leaves of the sunflower with my aqua water pen, like that. It's not the neatest job you've ever seen, but hopefully, I'm sorry about my arm getting in the way, but I can't really get down to colour this without it kind of edging in the way of the camera there. Try and be quick about it as much as I can, and then we can get on to the butterflies. So I think colouring butterflies is very, very fun. I love butterflies. Obviously I've got a big butterfly in my arm. But yeah, if you just keep with me, I won't be 2 minutes. Let's get the inner leaf thing coloured nicely in there. This is another day because I had to, as I say, stop record. Well, when I realised it wasn't actually recording, I had to stop it and then finish what I was doing and then come back to it. So we're on to another day here, which is not ideal, but there we go. Also, life is quite busy looking after a crazy cocker spaniel who barks at everyone who passes by the house, which is not easy, but she's lovely. I shall try and remember to get her on camera maybe one time for you, and then everyone can see her, because she's a lovely girl. She's just a bit crazy. When they say cocker spaniels are crazy, you don't really appreciate that until you've got them. So you've got one yourself, and then you're like, yep, they're crazy. She is crazy. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to, I think I might have actually run out of water for my, which is not brilliant. I'm just going to refill this up and I'll be back in a moment. And now I'm back. Sorry, I've just had to quickly refill that with the water. It had completely run out. I hadn't realised, because I've been away for a day. All the water in this had, with the heat, it had just evaporated. It's been that hot, but I've come back to it now. So, and I've just managed to spill a water droplet on there, but luckily, because it's watercolour, I can just go, and it's done. Okay, so butterflies. I started him, and then I didn't know what to do the end parts like. Also, I've noticed it's bled through a bit onto that page, which is, I wasn't really anticipating that, but I'm just gonna, as a way to say, I'm just gonna roll with it. Just putting a bit more green on that stalk there. It's a bit lighter than the other one. I don't know if that's quite the green that this, I mean, again, the shades of that variation. So if you're looking at the variation of the shades, it's quite similar. I'm trying to be as close to it as I can actually get without, you know, messing it up, but we'll see. And then I'm going to go in for some on here. I'm just mixing a bit of that orange and a bit of the yellow. I'm trying to get more of a a mustard yellow. I think these are, yeah, I don't know where the colours are actually taken from, whether they're adapted colours from the Prismas or whether they're from a Polychromos, or where they make that, or maybe it's just a general colorization of like every of like just colours in general, if you know what I mean. I don't know what I'm going on about, but I don't know where they get the, basically I don't know where they get their colour palettes for these cards from. I don't think it says anywhere. Now it doesn't say, it's just on there and it just says, doesn't actually say where they come from. I'm just wondering now. Oh, I put the card back in the set, so I don't know. It says colour tube. Oh, it says I can tag Sarah Renee Clark if I wished, which I might do. Have been alright. So they've all colour palettes have been created by Sarah. All your colour uses are as from the original photographers. So I don't actually think that these colours are based on any particular pencil or anything like that. Yeah, but it can help your initial find for some other brands of paints if you want an online tool. If you're designing, you can use the hex code provided to get a better colour match for these, so you can match them better if you're like using an online thing. That's why they have the hashtags. But she still recommends doing the final match by eye. So yeah, I don't think it's actually based on any particular like Prismacolor or Polychromos or anything like that, which is fine because I prefer to just kind of use what I have to hand rather than going on a particular brand of whatever it is. And you see I've matched that quite well to that palette, well as I can. And I think that's all you can really do, but it gives you a nice kind of something to aim for, because quite often I get a bit lost in like, oh, what colour am I going to use here, what colour am I going to use there? But for these, it's really nice and simple and easy, and you're straight in there, you know what you're doing. Now for the body, I think I'm just going to stick to, I think on mine I'm going to stick to black. So I've just got a big tub over here of various pens and pencils. I'm just going to take a pen and I'm just going to do these all in black. I'm going to leave a little bit of white around the tip on the probos, whatever you call them, just a little bit, and then the rest of it I think I'm going to just colour in black, just plain black, and just fill it all in nicely with that. It's easier to do it with a pen because then it's not going to be touching the yellow and sort of getting that spreading effect, bleeding effect that you'd get if it was with watercolour on watercolour. And now it's nice and dry, it's pretty good, it's pretty easy to work around it. I'll just fill in that. Yeah, it just keeps it nice and simple. But then I'm going to go back over the wings and add some more black and red detailing. So we're not completely finished with him yet. We'll come back to that. There we go. And then we're going to do this one down here. I'm going to go over, like I've done with these leaves, and put in the stem details. But I'm just waiting until I know that the leaves are completely dry before I do that. Otherwise, you'll find that a lot of the time, whether you're using pencil, it won't kind of penetrate the paper. So you end up with a lot of wasted time there. So I'm just going to leave those for now. Colour this last one, finish those, and then I'll come back on and show you how it all looks in the end. So here is what the finished page looks like. I just went around the leaves a little bit more and the butterfly and added in a little bit more detail to that and finished that off. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and when I do another, or what I might actually do is do a few of these colour cards by myself and add them onto pages and put them into put the colours like I've done here into a page, and then show you one by one what I've done, rather than trying to fit it all in camera, which takes a lot of editing, but I'll see anyway. So that's that for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.